6 years, and it's finally over. Call of Duty has officially put out a statement saying SBMM is officially gone. I'm not recording this video with a beer in my hand this early in the morning, but we have won. It's officially victory day for the Call of Duty community, and I thought I'd never see the day. When you ask for something for 6 years, you think you're never going to get it, and here we are. And so this video is going to be one of a kind, and let's just get right into it. Actually, before reading the statement, I just want to say this is just a change that is purely done because of us, the Call of Duty player base, and what we've been saying. It's been 6 years of asking for this, 6 years of giving feedback just to get this one change. It's over a half a decade. Think about this. Put that in perspective. Over a half a decade for one key change in a video game that the majority of the player base was asking for. And here it is. You don't know how it feels. This feels like victory day. It is insane. I never thought I'd actually see this because in my last commentary, when they put the open matchmaking mode in the beta, in my last commentary, I said it's going one of two ways. They're either going to confirm that it's going to be in the game permanently from day one, or I thought, and I can admit when I'm wrong, the most likely scenario was they were baiting this mode for the players that wanted SBMM gone, and they would keep this game mode and compile it with a, standard SBMM matchmaking system in the default game. And if you have these two game modes, essentially the open matchmaking system doesn't work because the people who would be protected in normal SBMM still have the option to go play it. You can't have both game modes. And so it's either this or nothing. Like, this has to be the default matchmaking system. Ping is king. It can't be both because if you have both, the discrepancy is still there in the matchmaking. It might not be as big and it might not get there as quick over time, but it's still essentially the same. So when I was saying it's most likely fool's gold in my last commentary, I was wrong because I really thought that this would not be the default matchmaking mode. I really thought that they would keep this in permanently and keep SBMM as the default, but I was wrong. Like I said, I can admit when I'm wrong. So we'll just read it from the top about what Activision is saying and the matchmaking update as a whole coming to Black Ops 7, because this is not happening without competition, and it's not happening if the Steam player count is not as low as it is. Just looking at the player count right now very quickly, it's atrocious. The fact that Battlefield 2042 obtained half of that over the summer just off of the Battlefield 6 hype. If I'm an Activision operations guy or if I'm in marketing and I see that a game that I'm in competition with that released 3 years ago is beating my current game that I spent $600 million on, almost, I'd be panicking. And so, just to give you some perspective of how bad things are on the back end at Activision regarding Call of Duty, it's just one of the multiple forces. You can also go back and listen to every single one of my commentaries right before we start reading this. I stated very clearly that this year it was not just the Activision and the Call of Duty player base requesting SBMM be gone and all of these changes. There were a lot of forces that were going to force Activision's hand at one time. There were a lot of things going on at once. We're talking about, player retention going down, player bases leaving. We're talking about GTA 6, which is the most anticipated game of all time, essentially. And then we have Battlefield 6. Like, the competition was there forcing their hand more than the Call of Duty player base was. And so without that, we wouldn't have this update. I think I have a really good track record of being honest and not hating and giving legit criticism. So I suggest you go rewatch my commentaries and just see how we led up to this point. Because now Activision is saying we have a matchmaking update. We know the big question on everyone's minds coming out of the beta is how will matchmaking work in Black Ops 7? At launch, matchmaking with minimal skill consideration will be the default for Black Ops 7 multiplayer. Simply put, imagine the matchmaking experience of Open Mosh Pit from the beta, but as the standard in Black Ops 7 on day one. Our team feels strongly about providing players with a more varied experience and the beta proved to be a great opportunity to test this approach. We'll be sharing more details as we get closer to the launch. Persistent lobbies. We've heard the community discussion and dialogue around lobby disbanding, and as we mentioned earlier during the beta, we're focused on keeping players together from match to match more often. Today, we're excited to announce we'll have persistent lobbies at launch for Black Ops 7. We're committed to improving this experience for players. We will be sharing more details soon. Aim assist. We've also seen the discussion about rotational aim assist and community questions about how aim assist will be tuned across the inputs in Black Ops 7. It's a priority of ours to have a fair and competitive balance across all input devices at launch, and we'll be sharing more about the changes coming to aim assist on controller ahead of launch. Automatically, absolute W's across the board. This info came out almost exactly 24 hours ago, and I missed it. I don't know how I missed it with, the Giants beating the Eagles. It was a fantastic game. But it was just something that I missed. And, a competition is great. This is what we love to see because now we're going to have a viable Call of Duty game that you can play for free on Game Pass if you have Game Pass, or maybe, I have not played it yet, but it might just be worth it. And I love how they make this change, right before Battlefield 6 releases. It's timing is everything. So they methodically waited for this announcement, you can tell now. So I think we should wait. If you're on Game Pass and you could get it for free, maybe give it a download. But other than that, I would say wait to see, official gameplay and make your decision for yourself. That's my opinion. Make your decision for yourself. I'm going to wait to see gameplay, or, I do have Game Pass, so I'll just download it on there and see how I feel. But overall, I never thought I'd see this change. When you are asking for something over the course of 6 years, you reach a point where, you get a little cynical. And it's not even pessimistic at that point because you think it's just not going to happen. So you get cynical, you get, sarcastic, you say a lot of satire things. And that's what I think Blame Truth has really done. And I think people hate on him. People called him a hater. But if you're a modern Call of Duty player and you see what just happened, this change happened not because you're still playing, but because the majority of the people you were playing with in MW 2019, Black Ops Cold War, and Vanguard, they're gone. And it's because of SBMM. And you just don't have the brain bandwidth to understand how that algorithm works. Okay? That's just how it is. And so now we have this change, and it's just a win for everybody, in my opinion, because this will obviously increase sales. This will increase player retention. I think I see players already going back into the Call of Duty HQ. They got a little boost, peak player count, 90K players. I'm just worried they waited too long. Like I said, 6 years is a long time, so we'll see how much damage they've really done over the course of that time. And that's all I got for you guys. See you guys in the next one. Peace.